All right, boys, welcome to Gladiator Code number 10. This is on fake self-righteousness, and I'm excited to talk about this because most of the Gladiator Code is on the traits and characteristics that we have to install into our lives to become successful, faith-driven kings in this world. But this is not that. This is on something that we need to destroy in our lives, which is fake self-righteousness. And I used to think that I was doing everything right. I thought because I wasn't out here partying or drinking or doing reckless things, that somehow I was better now than the guys who were. And I convinced myself because I was avoiding sin, I was winning in life. Okay, but deep down, there's a truth that I knew that led to so much unhappiness. And it's that I wasn't actually building anything. I wasn't actually leading anyone. And I wasn't actually impacting the world the way I knew I could. I was just playing it safe. Okay? And then I realized that fake self-righteousness is the greatest excuse for weak men to do nothing. It makes you feel good about yourself while you keep passive, unproductive, and ultimately weak habits and routines in your life that do nothing for yourself or anyone around you. And because righteousness is not about what you do, it's about who you are, how you move, and what you build. And I see so many men, and I was so guilty of this, who claim to be righteous, but in reality, they're just afraid. They're afraid to take risks, they're afraid to step into leadership, and they're afraid to bet on themselves and build something great. And they mask the fear and inaction as wisdom and patience. But the truth is, they are scared to fail. They are so uncertain in the things that they have, and they're scared to fail. And this keeps you so weak, okay? Like, it makes you feel like you're actually winning when you're actually losing. You're lying to yourself. And a lot of guys hide behind morality as an excuse to avoid taking real action. You know, they'll tell themselves, I'm not like one of those guys who's so focused on work and chasing ambition. And they're not leading, they're not building, they're not taking dominion. They're sitting on the sidelines criticizing the guys in the dang arena. And Jesus didn't say, well done, good and faithful critic. He said, well done, good and faithful servant. What does that mean? Like, what are you actually serving? And if you're just talking but not building, you are losing. And I hope this offends some people, okay? The thing about self-righteousness is it keeps you focused on looking good instead of being actually good, okay? Fake righteousness is all about appearance. It's about wanting to be perceived as holy and disciplined and wise and on time, okay? Without actually doing any of the things to become that. And this is exactly what Jesus called out in the Pharisees. In Matthew 23:27, he says, woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, you hypocrites, for you are like whitewashed tombs, which outwardly appear beautiful, but within are full of dead man's bones and uncleanliness. Okay? What does that mean? It means you can look the part and still be rotting inside. Because real righteousness isn't just about avoiding the bad, it's about pursuing the good. And that takes action, relentless, unfearful action, okay? The thing about self-righteousness is that it starts to create like a fear of like judgment instead of a fear of God. And we talk about the fear of man versus the fear of God all the time. Like, men trapped in fake righteousness are obsessed with what people think. They want to be seen as holy. They want to be seen as wise. They want to be seen as successful. But the fear of man is a trap. Proverbs 29:25, which we talked about in Gladiator Code 4, was that the fear of man lays a snare, but whoever trusts in the Lord is safe. And if your righteousness is based on how you look to others instead of how you stand before God, you are so off course. Okay? True righteousness means moving in boldness. It means not hesitating because of opinions. It means like not seeking this external validation from men. It means not hiding behind religious appearance and comfort, but actually living in obedience with action and with conviction. Okay? So like, this is how fear disguises itself as self-righteousness, okay? Some men convince themselves that they're being wise and responsible by playing it safe, but really they're just afraid to take risks, okay? And they tell themselves, I'm waiting for the right time to make a move here. Translation is, I am afraid to fail. And they say, I just don't think God is calling me to business. Well, I don't want to step into the unknown. That's what that means. And I don't want to be all about money. The translation of that is, I don't want the responsibility of building wealth for the impact that I want to have, right? When you start saying, what if I start and it doesn't work? The translation of that is, I'd rather stay in my comfort zone than face real challenges. And here's the truth. If you're called to lead and build and expand the kingdom, but you let fear stop you, you are in disobedience, because faith requires action. Okay? James 2:17, faith by itself, if it does not have works, is dead. It doesn't get more clear than that. Okay? So let's talk about some like personal shifts to move from fake righteousness to real power, because I don't want to just convict people, I hope, and then be like, hey, here's no actionable things to do. You need to shift from avoidance to execution, okay? Stop measuring your life by what you don't do and start measuring it by what you build. Take action, execute, move with purpose, okay? And when you do that, you shift your image to impact. Stop worrying about looking righteous. Start worrying about whether your life is producing the fruit that you want it to produce, the desires in your heart. And shift from fear of man to fear of God. Stop waiting for permission, move in boldness, and start building something real. Okay? So I'm making this video, guys, because we need to stop using self-righteousness and righteousness in general as an excuse for fear. And if your entire identity is built on what you don't do, you are missing the point. True righteousness is not just about avoiding sin. It's about walking boldly in faith, about stepping into responsibility and building something real. And for a lot of men, their so-called wisdom and patience is fear in disguise. It's fear of failure, fear of stepping into the unknown, and fear of taking responsibility for their success. Okay? So instead of leading and taking risks and building, they choose to sit back. And they justify their inaction by calling it righteousness. Okay? But here's a hard reality. Avoiding bad things does not make you a righteous man. A righteous man moves. He builds, and a righteous man expands. So ask yourself, are you really living in righteousness, or are you using righteousness as a mask for your fear? Because at the end of the day, God did not call you to play it safe. Okay? He called you to lead, to create, and to take dominion. And there's only one type of man who will hear, well done, good and faithful servant, and that is the man who took action, who took full authority over the goals and pursuits of this world. Okay? I'm going to pray us out here. Lord, Heavenly Father, we thank you for conviction. We thank you for the faith that you install into us over fear, and we thank you for great callings. We thank you for giving us the power to take dominion and authority and control over the things of this world, to make them our servants instead of our masters. God, I pray over the men watching this that we are able to crush self-righteousness, that we are able to remove all masks and fears and doubts and insecurities and uncertainties and replace them with pure, relentless, God-filled wisdom and action. God, we thank you for your blood. We thank you for the opportunity to do this every day. I'll see you guys in the next Gladiator Code.